Okay, we are up on YouTube and BlabIM, and then we're going to take a second of silence and come up in the podcast. Welcome to Timelines, episode 137. It's my pleasure today to have Kim Shivler from whiteglovewebtraining.com, and she's all about creating online courses. And she also has another site coming online. I just want to tell folks, it's not quite up yet, but it's howtobuildawebsitecourse.com. And you've got that domain, right, Kim?
It's howtobuildanonlinecourse.com.
Yeah, howtobuildanonlinecourse.com. Well, Kim, welcome to the show. It's a pleasure to have you back after we had our crazy show with my co-host on WP Tonic, who was high on meds. We're doing a redo here. But this is an important month. WPTonic.com. It's all about building courses this month. And you're going to be on next week. You'll be on the show. And then you'll come back for the roundtable later on in the month. And then, I'm actually launched my preliminary online training, my online training about WordPress, not WordPress, but about turning a blab into a podcast is being built this week. And then we're going to expand it way past that. So we'll talk more about that in the break in 10 minutes. But Kim, this is all about you. Where do you come from today?
I'm in Melbourne, Florida today. It is not cold here. It's nice and sunny and beautiful day.
I'm in Reno, and we're supposed to get some snow tomorrow, which we're looking forward to. We love snow. It's nice. We're high in the Sierras, so we get snow, and then it's nice and bright and sunny, and it melts. And then up in the mountains, it stays nice for the skiing. So we're looking forward to that. So you've had an amazing background. You've worked corporate, advanced degrees. I think your undergrad's in English, and then your advanced, you have an MA, I believe?
Masters of Education.
A Master's of Education, which is wonderful. What a combination. I'm jealous with that combination. Now, you work for other folks, but you're really an entrepreneur, aren't you?
Absolutely. I come from a family of entrepreneurs. I wouldn't know what else to do. So yes, I did take time off to work for other people at times, but I'm an entrepreneur.
So what's an entrepreneur mean to you? Why do you like being an entrepreneur?
Multiple reasons. Mainly, I have a little bit of, I like to master something new, and then I like to do it, and then I like to go do something else. So the thought of just doing one thing behind a desk for a company, no matter how exciting the company, it doesn't appeal to me. Also, I like to have control. I'm a bit of a control freak. So I like to be able to steer my course where I want to go.
I know we try to stay out of politics because politics will destroy your business, but we both have some libertarian tendencies from talking to you. So I know that for a fact. So I think that's a common trait that most entrepreneurs have. And let me tell you about myself, multi-generation entrepreneur. This isn't about me, but since you mentioned it, went to West Point out of high school. My family's all served in the military, at least one tour. Went in for 9 years, literally loved it. But the reason why I was in 9 years, I started in the infantry, special forces, team leader, went to flight school as a captain. I've like 10 different moves in, 9 years, basically. Special operations, aviation, ranger school, you name it, I did it. So I think that's that entrepreneur spirit in me was there. And then if things didn't go really right, or I saw the Army was downsizing in the 90s, I said, I don't need to be here. I'll go out and do what my family's done and be an entrepreneur. Because I've been ever since, from design, build, construction, engineering, employees. But I'll tell you what, this is the first time I've been a solopreneur. And I can't wait to get some more folks on my team. 2 years after I got back from Afghanistan in 2012, retired. For 2 years, I've been studying WordPress, which I already have worked for about 20 years in and out of, networking, things of that nature, and design, build, engineering. Mm-hmm. But I've learned WordPress. I've learned how to podcast. I've learned how to netcast, and I got it on Blab. And I'll tell you what, I've worked my tail off as a solopreneur.
You will. Absolutely. That's just part of being a solopreneur. Now, I like being a solopreneur, but I like having more of a virtual team. I have no desire to have true employees ever again, but having a virtual team, whether they're through Upwork or one of the other organizations that helps you with that, is what is kind of my sweet spot.
Right. And by the way, folks out there, Bill is running on about 4 hours sleep last night because so many things are going on right now. So between my wife's company, she has a real estate company, the new course coming online, and the podcast, unbelievable. So being a virtual entrepreneur, the virtual teams. I'm thinking about something on the virtual teams. Explain to our listener what a virtual team is.
So a virtual team is really just putting together any group of people who are support, whether they're an admin or a web developer or a graphic artist person that is not going to be in your office, really, because they could even just be down the street. They're still virtual, but they're not coming and working in a joint area for you. So some people think of that when they think of hiring from India or the Philippines, and it absolutely can be that. Or it could be hiring someone on the other side of town that just is not in the same physical location.
It's going to be interesting to see what the IRS does. I had design build construction, and I'll tell you what, in the construction industry, people get whacked left and right. We hired a lot of subcontractors. We also had 7 employees. Mm-hmm. And if one of your subcontractors does not have the proper licensing and permits and all that, and business licenses, and the IRS says that they should be treated as employees, you got to go back and pay all sorts of taxes.
That's true.
Employee taxes, matching taxes, and it's huge. Right. I've been around contractors who have lost their business because of the IRS. Now, I've always crossed my T's and dotted my I's, but I am concerned about the future. The IRS is not going to like us going out with all these virtual folks. Now, outside the country, there's no problem. We're outside our community. But one of the tests is they have their own computer, they have their own systems, and they have a business license.
I think that's part of why most people go through services like Upwork.
Mm-hmm. Where, yeah, that's another good protection.
You're going through an agency as opposed to putting an ad on Craigslist and hiring the kid down the street, because then you're right. Those can be iffy, but you have to, again, there's still ways to do it though. If you do it right and for example, you have a contract with them, you don't control their hours. That's one of the biggest ones the IRS will get you on. Right? If I say you're a contractor, but you have to work for me 8 to 1 every day, IRS says, no, that's not a contractor. So I definitely think you're right. With people in the U.S., you probably need to jump through some more hoops. But if you're going through an agency, maybe not so much.
Hey, let's talk about a situation on your team. I'm learning this left and right. And this is one of the more wonderful things I'm finding out right away. You can meet people like yourself. I mean, you've got great talents and your background is wonderful. And you can partner up with them for specific projects and to work back and forth and trade off time for each other. And that's fine because you're a team. And affiliate marketing, by the way, that's the first way I see where you monetize is on your affiliate marketing, sort of affiliate marketing relationship / team. That's another person can be in a team. So you can have your virtual assistants, your partners on specific projects. Like Jonathan and I partner on a lot of things, Jonathan Denwood. And it's wonderful. So let's know a little bit more about yourself before we go into your success and leadership principles. What are the things that you like most about your lifestyle?
Well, my favorite thing about my lifestyle is I do like working at home. I like the freedom. I tend to be an early morning person. So I can get up and be right at my desk and not have to worry about driving anywhere. And I'm one cat short of a crazy cat lady. And I have my cats who get to help me work. And that's lovely. There's one right now sleeping on a tree. And I'm not sure where the other one is. She came in and moved my light a minute ago. I had to reach over and move it back. So that's one of my favorite things is to just have my cats. I tend to be more casual at home. And then I like the contrast too. I still teach live classes. I will go set up a space and sell classes and get to interact with people. So I like the combination of both.
Yeah, I think I like that style too. That's crazy. So at the end of the show, we'll have to bring on your wild cats if they'll wake up.
If they'll let me bring them on, yes, I will.
And the other thing too, we know you're a true Floridian. Born in Florida, escaped for a while and was drawn back.
Yes, I was born and raised in Florida, and my family pretty much was all born and raised in Florida, even most of my grandparents. So we are pretty close to being native Floridians. And I went and worked in Austin, Texas for several years, which is a great place to work when you're in technology. And I was during the 90s, I was there. and then moved back to Florida early 2000s, I think about 2002, and came back. And it's been a lot of fun ever since. Personally, the West is my favorite area. I could be on a ranch in Wyoming somewhere and be very happy, but it's just not in the cards for me right now.
Have you been to Reno?
I have not been to Reno. The only place I've been in Nevada is Vegas.
Well, next year you'll have to go to the Sacramento WordCamp.
Okay.
And by the way, and we'll tell folks out there, you are speaking at WordCamp USA.
Yes, WordCamp US, Philadelphia, December 4th through 6th. I am
that's
so
an honor.
excited.
That's a very big honor. I mean, you're one of the top in the industry. I love WordCamps. Even if you're just starting, try to go to WordCamp and WordPress. And once you go, you'll want to go more and more and more. People are wonderful.
Yes, I'm the same. I wish I could just spend my year, every weekend go to another WordCamp, because they are the most wonderful places to learn, the most wonderful places to collaborate with people. So yes, the announcement was just made yesterday for the WordCamp US speakers, and I'm incredibly excited and honored to be part of that.
Well, congratulations. With that, we're going to go to our first break and
Okay.
thank our sponsors. And we'll be back with Kim's leadership and success principles. Well, I want to thank our sponsors today, and it's Share the Oils, Northern Nevada. Thank you, Share the Oils. We really appreciate your help. We're looking forward to you showing folks how that can be one of the sources of income, your company, to add to, in the top 2 or 3 from what you do. So thank you, Share the Oils. Appreciate your support in this podcast and Netcast. And finally, a little bit of commercial from me. I'm actually building our first online program right now, online training. And folks, you get to watch me build that training today and tomorrow. And I'm going to have a quick link down below today. And you can sign up for $5. You're going to get the whole course. The whole course is going to be at least $495 initially. But as I evolve, we're going to increase it like $5 a week, day next week, with some conditions on it. And I think it's a great way to do it. I'll get input from people. We still haven't got the exact website we want. I have tohavesuccess.com. So you can go there tomorrow and you'll find some links at tohavesuccess.com. And this show, of course, will be up as if you're listening live night and blab, or you see this on YouTube, because this show is not going to be up until Monday night, which is about the 2nd or 3rd. What's Monday night? Monday night.
The 2nd.
Second, right. So normally we'll have a special announcement on Sunday, but this will be up Monday night. Well, Kim, I blabbed on with that commercial, but that's what this is all about. This is really fun. We can pause, stop, and have a great time. So, Kim, we're going to go right into Kim's success, life, and leadership principles. So here they are. I'm going to name them, and then we'll talk about them. Okay, Kim?
Okay, sounds good.
Number 1, early to bed and early to rise. Number 2, jealousy has no place in the heart. Number 3, be a lifelong learner. Number 4, make lists. Number 5, know when to pivot. Number 6, be grateful. And number 7, believe in yourself. Those are wonderful principles. So, Kim, let's start with number 1, early to bed, early to rise.
Yeah, I am one of those people who really believes that a good night's sleep is key, but then get up early, be at your desk, and get things done. There are a lot of people in the self-help, different space for business that talk about the 5 a.m. miracle and what you can get done. And part of that is most of the rest of the world is not calling you, and yet you're still fresh. And I know there are some people who are more night owls. That's fine. For me, the early to bed, early to rise really works. I get more done before 9 o'clock than a lot of people do all day long. And I tend to be at my desk somewhere between 4 and 5 in the morning. And then I like to be done 1 o'clock in the afternoon, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, winding down, cooking dinner, relaxing.
Instead, you're on this podcast. It's 3:30 on Halloween Eve. And you're here
That's
with me.
right.
Thank you. And thank you, Jonathan. This is a redo.
Yes, it's a redo.
Love Jonathan. Jonathan from WP-Tonic. See, you got a commercial, Jonathan. So, that's wonderful. When I was in the Army, of course, we were up at 5 o'clock. And by 9 o'clock, we'd done before most people, right? And that's so true. But that said, I'm terrible. Once I got out of the Army, and I was a design build engineer, I go to my office. We'd start construction at 7, go in the field. At 3 o'clock, I'd come back to my office, take a nap, come back at 6 to my office, and work till 2 in the morning on engineering. I did that for 7 years.
Oh.
And I got so used to that. It was quiet time. It was like my quiet time at night. But, that's not good either because you're away from the family and it's just not good. I still have that bad habit. Last night I was up till 2 because of my friends at Infusionsoft and this new course. That's another story. We're trying to launch today. So sorry to blab on. See, when I don't have sleep, I blab. So let's go to number 2. Jealousy has no place in your heart.
Yeah, this is a big one for me. And sometimes people hear it and want to know what it has to do with business. Although for me, it's both a business and a life principle. What other people are doing is none of your business. Don't worry about it. Don't look at that other person and go, wow, he's doing so well. And then the self-doubt creeps in, or oh my gosh, that's the competition. We're going to kill them. Don't go with that. Your heart doesn't need to be jealous towards people, towards companies. Just focus on what you need to do, get it done, and that's how you move ahead. So it was a big one for me because I was one of those people who tended, as I was growing up, wanted to have the best, be the best. I'm highly competitive, a little bit type A here. And so I really had to back up and say, no, I need to focus on me and what I think of other things going on. That's really none of my business. And along with those lines, I don't worry a lot about what other people say about me. What they think of me, it's none of my business.
I believe like you do. In fact, I look at Pat Flynn, John Lee Dumas, and they have inspired me more than anything.
Absolutely. They inspire me every single day.
And they've really, really inspired a whole network out there. And I think they're waking up the world. One of my objectives, and I can't wait till this happens, went to the National Broadcasters Association convention. There's billions of dollars there in advertising dollars, radio, TV, name it. A lot of that money is going to come over into this platform. It's just on the way. And instead of having these big, expensive radio and TV shows in your town, you're going to have a couple people, reporters, and somebody doing editing. And every night you'll have on-demand TV and news, not TV, but news streaming. And it'll get more perspectives, more freedom. And that's coming. It's coming a lot faster than they think. And a lot of that billions of dollars from the media industry is going to disappear. It's going to go over to us.
I agree.
Very good. So number 3, be a lifelong learner.
Not just because I am a teacher, the world moves much faster than it did even 5 years ago. If you want to be successful in business or in anything, you need to be open to learning new things, take time to learn new things, whether it's a whole new career for yourself that you're redefining yourself, or if it's just enough to stay ahead of the game with what you're wanting to stay at, keep working at. So you absolutely, I'm a podcast junkie. It's one of my favorite ways to stay on top of things. And I will go an extra 45 minutes to the longer grocery store just so I can add another cast in and try to stay up on things and read and learn. And it's just important.
We've all sat in the car for 5 minutes listening to a podcast.
Yes, we have.
At least before we went to the store or when we come home in the parking lot. There's a name for that. When you're sitting in your driveway listening to a podcast in a quiet car. Yeah, it's so true. I think we've got the same personalities. This is crazy. Libertarian, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, and we like listening to podcasts and netcasts. Well, a netcast is everything. That's why I like everything.
Right.
So that's why you see the YouTube usually is 8-1 on the iTunes feed as opposed to YouTube. 8-1. And you know what? This last couple of weeks, Google just figured out that they're losing to the RSS feed.
I saw that. They're adding it. I saw that they'll have Google Play where you can put your podcasts in your RSS feed for whatever you have. Personally, for listening, I prefer the audio. My family were audio people for a long, long time, as long as I can remember. And so I do like, even if they have a video portion, unless it's a very specific how-to where you need to look at something, I would much rather just listen to the audio.
I listen to national news, which is the TV version, on audio on my phone all the time. I can imagine what it looks like. I just want to sort of hear what's going on nationally.
Yeah.
Very good. And I don't get time to watch TV. Probably you don't get to watch much TV either. I take it. We do. We listen to podcasts when we're doing other things.
Exactly. And that's the thing you can do. I do have my real guilty pleasure. I like to take off about 4 o'clock and watch Judge Judy, but
That's okay. You got to unwind a little
it's
bit.
a horrible guilty pleasure. My family laughs at me.
People don't know we were both with the French. I spent a year with the French. You spent time with the French. They take their downtime in the afternoon. And
Yes, they do. As do the Spanish. The Spaniards, definitely. When I worked in Spain, it was so hard because we were living and eating and partying like Spaniards, but we were working like Americans from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. on an IBM trade show floor. And that was tough.
So tell me how that fits into this point, be a lifelong learner. It does, the podcast, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
It
that's how I keep up on things. And I read too. I'm an avid reader. And sometimes I listen to audiobooks, or I actually always have 2 or 3 books that I've got spread around my desk.
What time do you start working in the morning?
Between 4 and 5.
Yeah, see, that's the key. I need to start doing that again. But I have a family, and they all are getting out of the house, my wife and my kids, by 7 and 8. So I guess I could get up earlier. I'm lazy. I'm bad. So anyway, number 4, make lists.
Yes. I am one of those people who loves project management, and I make my lists and I check them off when I'm done. If I think of something to do that needs to be done, say for my business, or even just something I need to pick up at the store, if I don't just get it onto a list and out of my head, that will become the focus of what I am thinking about instead of what I need to be thinking about. So for example, maybe I'm putting together a presentation for a webinar. If I don't just let that go and get it on another list, I will every slide I'll be thinking, oh yeah, don't forget when you get to the store, you need to do this. Or that's the idea I want for next week's blog post, or whatever it is. Get it on a list. One of my first things I do every morning is refer to the list. When I am really good at night, I go over the list for the next day, because then when I sit down at my desk between 4 or 5, I hit the content right away. I don't check email yet.
Well, I'm going to ask you a question about your course. Now, I try to do one online course a month at least. And this month I'm doing Kim's course, which is really interesting. I listened to the first part of it, just signed in, and I'm really looking forward to it. I need the training. But Kim, do you have checklists throughout that training for us?
For you, well, so far in the training, there are places I have checklists. Right now, what you're seeing in the training has been me teaching you how to build out the checklist. Like when I taught how to build that brain dump and move those together, and how they then become to-dos. So that's really kind of more like how to build your list, as opposed to me giving you a checklist. Now, once we get through this, in the last section, we started talking about you making a decision of what resources you were going to use, how you were going to deliver your content. At that point, once those decisions are made, is really when we start getting our lists, because I need to decide first, am I going to do video? Am I going to do audio? Am I going to do text? Before I can actually put in how those steps, the content I'm going to cover fits into that, and then what needs to be done around it.
Very good. So number 5, know when to pivot.
Mm-hmm.
What's that all about, pivoting?
Well, if you've read The Lean Startup, and if you're a business person and you haven't, I suggest you do. It was mainly about software and technology, but it applies to every business. And that is, get started, get going, but then analyze and know if this one area is not working, let's change. What is working? What could be more powerful? And that's a pivot. So it doesn't mean quit. People always say that, don't ever quit. Well, sometimes actually you may need to quit. If you are trying to sell ice boxes that predate refrigerators, right, I really recommend that you quit.
or shift. Just shift. You can still sell. Just shift to refrigerators.
Correct. Then you might shift to refrigerators. Yeah. Just a quick side funny thing, because we talked earlier about our families being entrepreneurs.
Right.
My one grandfather was a very successful entrepreneur throughout his life, but the one big failure he had was right after the war, when he got back from World War II. he partnered with a man selling refrigerators. And it was still at a time where you'd go by and people would have in there
The ice shops.
you know, how much ice they needed, 2 bucks today or whatever. And he said he going door to door and trying to convince people that the ice box was going away and this was the next thing didn't work. So anyway, yes. So that would be a pivot. I'm trying to sell ice boxes. That's not what's happening right now. Let's move over to refrigerators.
I love it. I love that. I love it. So number 6, be grateful.
Yes. I hugely believing in being grateful. First of all, if you're grateful for things, it helps keep that jealousy away that we talked about earlier, right? If I'm grateful, if I see someone who is just really killing it, I'm grateful for that. That means I can do it too. That means I can learn from them. They're setting an example. It also helps you when you get frustrated. And if you're honestly someone who's looked at your life or tried to do a project and you've never gotten frustrated, God love you. But for me, I get frustrated sometimes and my thought patterns aren't coming together and I'm not getting on paper what I want. And stopping and being grateful for what I do have and what I have succeeded at or what is coming up, it can be calming. And it tends to be, if you're frustrated, calming yourself down will get you back on a creative path. I mean, physiologically, we cannot be fully creative when we are angry or frustrated.
And lack of sleep. I'll throw lack of sleep in there too.
Lack of sleep is definitely one. I mean, you can actually become psychotic from lack of sleep.
I'm sure I do. You know what, though? In a really weird way, though, and you can ask Jonathan, when I don't get any sleep, when I'm really working, putting the hours in, I'm not as productive late at night either. But sometimes I come up with some amazing ideas, but I can't focus.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're running on adrenaline.
The ideas that just sort of come to my mind are amazing, but I can't focus. So I just got to write those down and then go back and get some sleep to get work done.
Okay.
So you brought it up. I just, the day is a low sleep day. So, and it's Halloween. Finally, believe in yourself. Mm-hmm. Believe in yourself.
Absolutely. I think self-doubt. Well, first of all, again, if you've never had a moment of self-doubt, you really are blessed. You need to be grateful. But for most of us, at some time, we have some level of self-doubt or that fear of the imposter syndrome. Who would want to learn from me? Who wants what I know? If you don't believe in yourself, nobody's going to. You've got to believe in yourself. And if you're having those moments of doubt, this is the real place where I say fake it till you make it. Everyone talks about fake it till you make it with, just general success, money, etc. Fake it till you make it with confidence in yourself. Keep pushing that I believe in myself. And here's what I'm going to do. Here's how I'm going to honor myself even. Find something to honor yourself to show that you believe in yourself until you actually do, if you ever have any doubts. Because it happens.
I'm going to follow up with a question.
Okay.
On that, what you just said, fake it till you make it. Now, here's the question. Now, you talked about a lean startup earlier in the book. And I look at the mistakes I've made. I borrowed $1 million from my design build construction company. Now, we made money, but it's painful when you borrow $1 million and have that much money going through your business and you haven't built up slowly. Mm-hmm. I see real estate agents, and we own a real estate agency in California, and my wife she's a broker in California, a broker here, but she actually works for another company here in Nevada. And one of the mistakes I see real estate agents doing is when they fake it till they make it, they go out and buy a really expensive car and they get in too much debt. Mm-hmm. Now, a lot of real estate brokerages like that because it makes them work harder, they think. But a lot of real estate agents go under. If you go under and you're not making the big dollars, you still have that payment.
Right.
So you don't want to overly fake it money-wise. So how do you balance that?
Well, I actually agree with you. I don't believe in the fake it till you make it money-wise because...
Be honest.
Not only that, I think if you're doing that money-wise, in my view, you might want to question what are my values around money in the sense of faking it till you're making it with money does not mean you have to be overly exuberant with spending. I think that people need to roll their spending back, whether they have money or not. I think a lot of times what there is you get in more of that ostentatious aspect of I want to appear this way. But to me, putting on an appearance is not faking it till you make it. Faking it, for me personally, I believe that faking it till you make it is actually digging in more of that internal dialogue of I am successful, I believe in myself, I can look put together, but that doesn't mean you have to spend, you can dress nicely, you can be put together without, buying all designer clothes, Porsche cars, things like that. So I would agree with you. I am not saying to people go out and get into debt. I think we all need to get out of debt. I just mean it more on when it comes to your self-talk.
Well, very good, Kim. We will finish up. That finishes up your life, leadership, and success principles. So we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back with a little commercial from you, your contact information, and one last question. Well, folks, for this show and the affiliate account, we have the book, The Lean Startup by Eric Ries. So go there and buy it, because we always believe in helping out the podcasters, the netcasters with their affiliate links. And that's the first place to monetize if you have a website. So Kim, Kim, as we go into this last episode, you get to have a commercial. Tell us all about your company. What's your 30-second commercial?
Mine is White Glove Web Training was designed to offer concierge training and services predominantly surrounding web topics, but also we teach online courses, and we teach you how to build online courses from how to do your content all the way through how to actually build and implement, whether you're using a WordPress plugin or a fully hosted option such as Udemy or Teachery. So that's my real focus. Why would you want to learn from me? Because I've been a tech teacher for over 20 years with a master's degree in education, and I can tie the teaching piece to the tech piece to the marketing piece to help you make your course a success.
Excellent, Kim. So now as we finish up, how does the listener find you?
The easiest way to find me right now is whiteglovewebtraining.com. I am Kim at whiteglovewebtraining.com. Twitter, I'm at Kim Shivler, and I do tweet. So tweet at me, I'll tweet you right back. And I'm also launching a new course or a new site called howtobuildanonlinecourse.com. But if you follow me on White Glove Web Training, you will actually learn more about that, and you'll be on the list to sign up for some free webinars coming this week as we get ready to launch How to Build an Online Course.
And you can go and find show notes at many different places, podcastershome.com, timelinesofsuccess.com, and yes, you can find it at Timelines Netcast. Well, Kim, we thank you for coming on the show, but we always have one last question. And that one last question is, when and why did you get into technology, especially as an English person?
So my bachelor's degree was in English. My master's was in education. And I tell people I was an accidental technologist. I found out my freshman year of college that I could get math credit for taking programming. And I would do anything to get out of taking calculus. So I signed up for this programming. Now we're talking about back in the early 80s. This is before we were all on the internet. We were doing line programming, which means on a VAX machine. So it printed out on paper about 2 feet wide by about 1 feet. You had to go through it manually to debug it. I was hooked. I absolutely loved it. And we were just seeing the launch of word processors, spreadsheets, databases, on the desktops. We were still, we're talking about the very early days of the PC and the Apple. And I was all PC back then. So I got really involved. I could see the potential of the applications. And I finished my degree in English. I finished my master's of education, but I kept on. I bought an early computer. I had all my grading. I actually taught English. I had all my grading and spreadsheets. I was building grading programs. I was building out databases. And what happened in the early 90s when corporate America put a desktop on every desk. And I got hired into corporate America as a tech trainer because I knew the teaching side. I knew the technology side. And I had started learning system administration, and I was pretty good at troubleshooting. I was also one of the few people in the technology department who had the patience to sit and work through it with somebody, because a lot of our software engineers, and any of you who've had a bad tech support experience on the phone, know that software engineers are not always the most patient persons. So I went into corporate America doing that, and I've never looked back, although I have left corporate America, but I really never looked back. I've stayed involved in web development, tech development, support, and training.
Well, Kim, again, thank you. Wow, that is some end of a story. We're live today on Halloween Eve. Thank you for coming back on. Now it's time for you to go get a glass of wine, get the candy out, and relax the rest of the night and enjoy the goblins and the witches and the ghosts and all those people are going to be floating around Florida.
I will enjoy it. We have a lot of kids. Unfortunately, I don't get to kick back quite yet. I still have to finish my decorations outside. So
well, I'll let you do that. I'm sorry for pushing. At least the candles aren't out yet and lit. It's not totally dark.
Correct.
But thank you again. And again, this will be up on YouTube tonight. In a few days, it'll be up on iTunes. So folks on iTunes, you already heard it. And we'll have our special up running next week for my course, which is, basically Blab to Podcast. Well, thanks, Kim.
Great. Thank you, Bill.
My mouse, this is the backup for my mouse. My keyboard went out. My mouse is out. Apple. I love Apple. I just don't like their peripherals.
Yeah, I'm the same. Like I said, I'm going to get a backup USB mouse just because my mouse has been so weird lately, and it's doing it during webinars, and I'm like losing my mind trying to get the mouse to go as I'm doing these screen shares, because a lot of my webinar is a screen share. I'm
going to call support up. I saw that when you had problems with the pictures too. Let's see. I'm going to call support and check. I have the support program, which I love. But I appreciate it. Have a great day. I'm really tired. And I thank you very much. Yeah, you go get some sleep. I'm going to run out, and I've got to run down to the store and get some batteries for my lights. I realized while we were on that I am out. We didn't get to see your cats. It would have been good to bring up your cats. Yeah, none of them would let me catch them just now. Are they awake now? Or are they still running around? Well, Pebbles is asleep, but Peekaboo, I tried to reach for her and she got up and ran out. So you could reach me because no, I'm Pebbles. I let the cat. Yeah, she's the one who I lifted up during our group talk the other night. Let me see now if she'll come out. Come on. You can get her. I'll put you on for a couple seconds. The cats. I'll say that. Hold on. We're having fun. No. Okay, this will be fun. You got her? When they don't want to be caught, they are not caught. Go get one. That'd be so nice. Maybe Pebbles will let me. Hold on. Go and get the cats. She'll bite me. Okay. The cats. The attack cats. Come on. Oh. Okay, there you go. I'm going to record. Watch this. Do a couple seconds of silence. Get your headsets back on. Oh. Okay. I'm going to do a second of silence, and then we'll bring the cat. I'm going to say the cats. And that'll be the end. What do you want to say? Anything? I'll just introduce Pebbles, the Wonder Guy. I love this platform. To be able to do what we're just doing is amazing, and no one's doing it. I know. It's pretty cool. If I can get there first, I got to get there first. This course should have been out 2 months ago because I knew about this 2 months ago. I can stop recording now. I got to take my jacket. We're not recording. We're pausing. No, we're not recording. It says recording. No, on mine. It doesn't on yours. I'll